did this moments ago.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
This is not a good look either for the owner. Attending his first combine as the Washington Commanders owner, Josh Harris has sat in and taken part of each of the 6 interviews that the team has conducted with the top quarterback prospects in the draft. Most owners don't attend the combine.
Well,
Harris is not only in Indianapolis, but a part of the quarterback interview process.
I mean,
I thought we got rid of the owner who's going to be part of it.
Maybe it's a red
You're
flag.
giving him a pass because his name's not Snyder.
No, I don't.
If his name was Snyder, you would be livid.
I don't think it's that huge of a deal.
If his name was Snyder, you would be saying, now, if they have a GM, it's the GM's job. Why is the owner involved? He's supposed to let the GM do it all.
Now, I agree that once it comes down to the decision,
doesn't look good. I would agree.
Peters has to make the decision.
Eric, it doesn't look good.
I'm torn on it. I don't know.
But again, we don't really know.
I don't think it's that big
Is he
of a
just
deal.
there, just kind of
Maybe he's just there because he wants to just drink it all
Right,
in.
like it's his first chance to be at the combine as an NFL owner. He wants to see what it's about. Like, he might not do it 2 or 3 years from now, but the first go around, he's like, "Hey, I want to see what it's about. I want to see what the interview process is like." You know what? To me, that big nothing.
Hold on. I mean, also,
he's a new owner. All right, so the story, so the tweet says that most owners don't go to combine, right? But he's new. This is the first full year anyway of getting the team.
Well, we know that Dan used to do it, so that's what taints it.
Yeah. It doesn't look good, but we have no idea if he's asking questions or what questions he's asking.
It says he's taking part.
I know, but who knows? Sure. But who knows what that means?
Right. I'm going to give him the best of that. And believe me, I said from day one, we don't know if this guy's any good or not. We have no idea.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't blame him. This pick is going to set the tone for the first 5 to 10 years.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but you don't want him falling in love with the guy and then influence the decision, and it might not be the right guy. If Josh Harris falls in love with somebody, he may make the call.
Let me give you a scenario. What if Josh Harris is like me, an elite people reader?
Mm-hmm.
If he's an elite people reader, I want him in there.
Yeah, well.
I want his input. I mean, Dan Quinn said it clearly.
I think this is a big red flag.
Adam Peters is making the final call.
You would think.
That's what he said.
Let's hope that's the case.
I think it's a red flag. You can chime in 800-636-1067.
Commanders fans are not going to be happy about
proven
this.
otherwise, I'm giving him a pass.
Not a red flag.
I'm sorry, but
if it was Dan Snyder, you would say it's a red flag.
Yeah, you know why?
Why can't he do the exact same thing that Dan Snyder has done?
25 years of horrible ownership and mismanagement under Daniel Snyder.
And we know
he's doing the exact same thing.
Not necessarily. What if he's just sitting in and he wants to observe the process?
He's an
observer.
We're
not saying you're assuming that he's coming in there and he's making the final call. He might just be observing. He's asking questions and stuff, but he just wants to be sort of a part of it, but he's going to defer to the experts.
Owner. He has the right to be in on whatever he wants. Like if the owner of Odyssey came in and said, I want to sit in and watch the Junks do their show, you know what we would say? Okay, pull up a seat, Mr. Field. Watch us do the show. Mm-hmm. You own the freaking company.
Of course we'd say, yeah, we wouldn't want him in here.
Right.
I wouldn't want him here. I wouldn't tell him get out, but I wouldn't want him here.
Right.
And using that analogy, it probably would affect the product. We would probably be slightly different because the guy's here.
At this stage of my career, I'm not sure I would
I think there's a lot being made of nothing here, of Harris just sitting in and
you don't think it's a big deal?
The reason why it's a big deal with Snyder is because he was actually meddling.
Making the pick. He was making the pick.
And, I mean, Jay Gruden and those guys were complaining weeks before the draft that this was going to be an owner pick.
He went out. Snyder was the guy going out and picking free agents. He obviously drafted Haskins.
Spent money on Hainsworth when he shouldn't have.
Yeah, so if Harris is doing that, okay, then it's Snyder B. But I don't think that it's going to be like that. I don't think. I think Peters will be doing.
If this was David Tepper, you'd be all over him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because his behavior leading up to this point has been weird and irrational. Harris to this point has not set off alarm bells.
I don't know whether it's true or not. But hasn't it been at least speculated about that in Carolina, Frank Reich and the coaches kind of wanted C.J. Stroud?
That was the rumor, yeah.
But Tepper was all in on Bryce Young.
Yep.
So my point is, him just being in the room, even if I'm going to go with he doesn't ask any questions.
Mm-hmm. No.
When they start having discussions, he might have somebody that he just has the goo-goo eyes for.
If we start getting reports that Harris made the pick instead of Peters, then it becomes a huge story. As of right now, he's sitting in on a quarterback interview. He's not going to sit in on linebacker interviews. This is the most important pick for the franchise in probably 20 years. The owner deserves to be in the room when you're interviewing the potential candidates to play quarterback.
Adam Schefter is tweeting it out because it is not common.
Mm-hmm.
That it actually
fine.
sticks out like a sore thumb, that he deems it newsworthy.
JP.
And again, he writes, most owners don't attend the combine. Harris is not only in Indianapolis, but a part of the quarterback interview process.
Well, JP, it does say most owners. All right. So
I think
some
Jerry
owners
Jones
do.
Jerry Jones is a prime example, but he's a huge decision maker.
Yeah, of course.
He's a GM.
Yeah. Listen, until proven otherwise, I think it's fine. If he starts making all the football decisions, then you got a problem.
I don't
That's
believe
Josh
Harris is going. I don't believe Josh Harris is going to go to Adam Peters and say, "This is the guy I want."
No, I don't see that happening.
I think he's very interested in the most important decision that's going to set the tone for this franchise for the next 5 to 10 years. And he probably wants to see who they're thinking about picking.
Yeah.
All right, we'll take your calls on this next of the MGM National Harbor listener lines, 800-636-1067. To you, is it a big deal that Josh Harris is sitting in on the quarterback interviews in Indianapolis at the Scouting Combine? We'll take your calls on that next at 800-636-1067. Came out at 7:02, so less than an hour ago.
This is what Open Line Thursday is all about right here. Topics like this.
Attending his first combine as the Washington Commanders owner, Josh Harris has sat in and taken part of each of the 6 interviews that the team has conducted with the top quarterback prospects in this draft. Most owners don't attend the combine. Harris is not only in Indianapolis, but a part of the quarterback interview process. That is from Adam Schefter's legit account. We're not getting onioned. This account has 10.7 million followers.
Here's my take again, and then I'll shut up, and you guys can all just talk. If he's making the final call, then it's a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's a data point like arm strength, processing, reads, athleticism, ability to use their legs, and then there's a data point called like character. And he's in there and he's chiming in on the character and maybe work ethic of the guy just from the jive he's getting.
Mm-hmm.
Then that's a data point that Adam Peters uses. Is his opinion on that? I'm fine with it.
Whoever they select,
I'm fine with that.
He's going to pay that guy like $50 million in guaranteed money, probably more. So, in my opinion, he has a right to sit in on the.
Of course, he has a right.
JP, hold on. The thing is about what you're saying, and I don't disagree.
Yep.
But I think Adam Peters is probably really good at judging character too.
Certainly.
So, and Adam Peters needs to know.
Let's hope.
Yeah, I'm sure he is.
Yeah.
I'm going to trust that.
Yeah.
So I think Adam Peters can handle that a part of it. Now, he's not the owner of the team. I get it. He didn't put the $3 billion in, but I think Adam Peters can handle all that.
Ultimately, it's going to be about wins and
right.
losses and if the quarterback is right.
And Dan Quinn.
But I don't think it's outrageous to think that a new employee, the GM, might want to please his boss. And if his boss, Drab brought this up during the break, if his boss says, I don't really get a good vibe on that guy, and that's one of your character data points, or he says, you know what, I really like that guy, that it could influence his employee's decision, wants to make his boss
enough
happy.
Experience and enough swagger where he.
How do you know? He's never been a GM. He's never made the final call.
He's a professional. He's a grown man.
It's the first time he's making the final call.
He's a grown man.
He's been part of building winning cultures at 3 different spots.
You're not talking about AWOD.
He's got confidence and
swagger.
swagger.
He's a grown, accomplished
and
man.
He knows that he knows that.
You don't think he
more
can be
than Josh
influenced
Harris.
by Josh Harris?
Probably not.
I think he could be. I think he could be.
I think you just got to trust him.
Yeah.
You got to trust him.
I think he's
It's
confident.
results oriented. It's all about results to me.
Yeah.
So Adam
course,
Peters and Josh Harris are both going to be judged by wins and losses.
Even if the pick hits and Josh Harris made the pick, it's wrong.
Correct. Because the process there is incorrect.
Right. Even if the pick hits, it's wrong. But I'm assuming he's not making the pick.
And I'm assuming that Peters has enough confidence in his football chops and his skill that he looks at Harris and says, well, that guy knows Wall Street and he knows hedge funds, but I know players and I know talent.
Yeah.
And I know way more than him, than Josh Harris, when it comes to picking players. I would guess that's his mental outlook.
True, but he was part of picking Trey Lance. So he's going to pick. No, they're going to be wins and losses.
We all know this. We've covered the draft for 30 years. It's an inexact science. People miss all the time, including Adam Peters.
All right, we'll bang out these calls. Let's go to Mike in Bethesda. Trying to go in order of who's called.
Okay. What's up, Mike?
Mike.
Yeah, hey, guys, thanks. I totally agree with EB. I think we give too much credit to these football brilliant, quote-unquote minds that are, we all know that these VPs and these GMs, it's an old boys network. Get a person in the room who reads people with business acumen, make a decision with multiple different viewpoints. I mean, Adam Peters has really not proven anything on his own. Get somebody who knows what they're doing in terms of business acumen. Let the owner in the room. The error rate is so high, maybe because they're not doing this. They're not getting these outsider opinions. They're getting these narrow vision opinions. Let the owner in the room.
You ever heard of too many chefs in the kitchen?
Yeah, I know.
Sometimes you can have too many chefs in the kitchen. I don't know if that's the case here.
Some of these guys, some of these interviews, and I've been in that world for a while. A long time ago, they bring in doctors, they bring in healthcare professionals to talk to these guys. Other teams use outside parties a lot. One of these happens to be the owner, but the owner's a darn good businessman. He reads people.
Right.
Well, Mike, you have no idea if Adam Peters hasn't accomplished anything. I mean, he's been in the decision-making process on 2 Super Bowl teams. You can't tell me he hadn't accomplished anything at the NFL level.
He was like the coffee maker for the head GM.
You have no idea what you're saying.
You don't either.
No, but you know what? I read things, and Adam Peters had a lot to do with the drafting of guys like Greenlaw and Fred Warner, Kittle. You
sound like Tom Cruise with your "I read things" comment.
You sound like a dumb fan. That's what you sound like.
Casey got
you sound like an idiot. See you later.
I got him heated.
All right, thank you, Mike. I appreciate it. All right, let's go to Heath.
It's been a while.
I miss the gas face.
Flex the muscle every once in a while. It's all good.
Well, I mean, just to tell me that he's never accomplished anything. Oh, please, come on.
Well, it's okay. It's not illegal to exaggerate.
Okay.
All right.
Is that what he was doing?
I think probably.
Okay.
Heath.
Good morning, guys.
I think he was just talking out of his what.
Right. Heath, what's up, man?
Good morning, guys.
What's up?
Look, success is not an accident. Adam Peters is successful. He's coming from a successful organization, and he's bringing the mindset of success to the Washington area, and hopefully that carries over through the draft. But I wanted to make a point about Harris sitting in. Listen, I work for a large corporation. I'm a corporate executive, and we hire people to run our retail outlets. And there's 3 corporate executives, and there's a president of our company. And whenever we hire somebody to run one of the retail outlets, it's like the quarterback of the business, so to speak, right? So as the corporate executives, we're responsible for the performance of that person and the decision of whether we hire them or not, because we're going to own the results. But that doesn't mean that the president of the company doesn't sit in on the interview and give us, hey, I think he's this kind of guy. I think this is his character. At the end of the day, it's your decision on whether you want to hire him or not. But understand, you're going to own the results of what happens.
If there's nothing wrong with him asking a question, owners do this all the time. I know a guy super successful in the tech world. He also owns delis. He owns a burrito shop. He doesn't make any of those decisions, but he asks questions. He goes into the office, he goes into the kitchen, and he asks the guy running why do you do this? I'm just I'm
Why aren't we getting free food from this guy?
Yeah, this guy that goes up with
burritos, delis.
Burrito man.
I'm just saying. I mean,
I like
it's
a corned
not
beef sandwich.
unusual. It's not unusual to ask questions.
I like Reubens.
Yeah, Reubens are silly.
Reubens are delicious.
It's unusual.
Give me a cold cut.
It's unusual in Adam Schefter's eyes.
Okay. Let's go, Sean in Columbia. Sean.
It's unusual in the NFL world.
Hey, fellas.
What's up?
I'm kind of like Lurch when he said you could bring the owner in, but I wouldn't like it. What GM that's just got hired and you set out your own consulting firm to even hire him is going to have the owner tagging behind him? I would be completely insulted. I think it all depends on how Peters feels about it. I just know me. If you hired me to do the job, well, why are you here? Why don't you just do it? I think it's a bad look.
He just wants to see how it's going down, and maybe he has an observation or two.
Doesn't he have hedge funds to run? Go do your other job and let me do my job.
He's already loaded. This is his new toy. It's his new baby.
It's also his largest investment.
Yeah, I mean, he plunked out a huge amount of capital for the Washington Commanders.
Seems like most people agree with you. I put up a poll on our Instagram page.
Because he's still getting a benefit of the doubt.
Follow us at Sports Junkies Radio. Only 34% right now say red flag that Josh Harris is at the combine with the quarterbacks.
If it turns out that they say that he heavily influenced the pick, even if it hits, it's a problem. You don't want him heavily influencing.
Don't want him making the pick. Absolutely not.
You can vote at Sports Junkies Radio on Instagram.
Go to Nate in Bowie. Nate, what's up?
Good morning, fellas. Here's my thing. Just because one guy did something and it was bad doesn't mean that everyone who does it is going to be bad for doing it. So having an owner sitting in that is successful, that is level-headed, that, as the other gentleman said, talking about people he running the retail stores and stuff, it's like, it really honestly blowing my mind. I think it just says more about people's mindsets, but, like, you have to be involved, I think, in this process, even if it's just on the fact that it's his first time. I don't think there's anything wrong with any of this. And that whole chefs in the kitchen thing, it's kind of like a misnomer, because if you ever look at a big restaurant, there's a bunch of people in there doing stuff. So, but there's only one chef who's running it. He's really not really doing anything at a high level, but all the cooks and stuff are necessary for the kitchen. So
yeah,
that's my point.
Good point. Thank you.
You're going literal on the chefs in the kitchen. The chefs in the kitchen is, let's say you have to make a decision and you got 15 people in some room trying to make the decision. Sometimes it becomes too many.
You're welcome to chime in throughout the show on an open line Thursday on the news du jour, the news of the day that Josh Harris is sitting in on the quarterback interviews at the Scouting Combine in Indy. Open line Thursday brought to you by Window Nation. Searching for new windows and doors. Search windownation.com. Their windows are measured to fit the first time and installed by experts to last. Window Nation for your home, because it's where you live. And don't forget, coming up in just about 50 minutes, Dylan Strome from the Washington Capitals. He'll join us at 8:45.